It was supposed to be a normal morning run for Ethan Bennett, a successful entrepreneur known for his cutting-edge tech innovations. He set out early before the sun fully rose, seeking the familiar rhythm of his feet hitting the pavement to clear his mind. But this morning would prove to be anything but ordinary. As he jogged through the tranquil city park, the sounds of birds chirping and leaves rustling filled the air. The sky was a soft blue, slowly brightening as the sun began to peek over the horizon. Ethan lost himself in thought, contemplating the challenging week ahead. His company was in the midst of a critical transition, and he needed to have a clear strategy by the time the board meeting arrived. But that all changed when something unusual caught his attention. Near a wooden bench, shaded by a large oak tree, he noticed a figure slumped over. Ethan slowed his pace, squinting to see better. Initially, he thought it was just an old jacket left behind, but as he got closer, his heart raced. A young girl, no older than 16, lay unconscious on the bench. Her clothes were tattered, and beside her lay 3 tiny infants, wrapped in thin blankets, whimpering softly despite the chill of the morning air. Ethan's instincts kicked in. Frantically checking his surroundings, he realized there was no one else in sight. Time was of the essence. He rushed toward the girl, kneeling beside her to check for any signs of life. He gently shook her shoulder. "Are you all right? Can you hear me?" She stirred slightly, her eyelids fluttering but not opening. The babies, however, had begun to cry louder, their little fists reaching out as if seeking comfort. Ethan felt his heart wrench at the sight. With no time to waste, he carefully picked up each of the babies, cradling them in his arms, and then scooped the girl into his other arm. She was much lighter than he had expected, and he could feel the desperation of the moment weighing heavily upon him. "Hang on," he whispered, though she couldn't hear him. With the infants nestled against his chest, he hurried toward his car parked nearby, his mind racing with questions. Who were they? How had they ended up here? As he placed the girl and the babies in the backseat, he could feel the tension of the unknown pressing down on him. Checking on the infants to ensure they were secure, he turned his attention back to the girl. Anxiety gripped him as he observed her pale face and shallow breathing. "Stay with me," he urged softly, as he drove through the empty streets toward his mansion in the upscale neighborhood of Hillcrest. He felt the urgency in his pulse matching the rhythm of the car engine. The towering black gates of his estate eventually creaked open as he pulled into the driveway. Ethan's house was a stark contrast to the chaos he had just encountered, a grand structure surrounded by manicured lawns and fountains that sparkled under the sunlight. Once inside, he called out for his housekeeper, May. "May, we need help!" She rushed in, her brow furrowing in concern as she took in the sight. "Mr. Bennett, what happened?" "I found her in the park. She's unconscious. And these babies, they need care." His voice felt laced with urgency. May's demeanor shifted immediately. "Get warm water and some blankets. We need to make sure they're comfortable." As she hurried off, Ethan gently laid the girl on the couch in the elegant living room, still cradling the babies. Their little cries tugged at his heartstrings, and he took a moment to rock them gently, whispering soothing words despite his own fear. May returned, carrying supplies, and together they carefully laid the infants down on a soft blanket. The girl remained unconscious, her face still pale and drained. Ethan felt a pang of guilt wash over him. What had led her to this moment? Moments later, the family doctor, Dr. Finch, arrived. Ethan's mind was a swirl of uncertainties as the doctor examined the girl and the infants, taking notes and checking vital signs. "How is she?" Ethan asked, hands shaking slightly as he watched. "She's weak and dehydrated," Dr. Finch replied, glancing at Ethan. "She needs proper medical attention immediately. The babies are underweight, but they're stable for now. We have to nurse them all back to health." The words hit Ethan like a ton of bricks. He couldn't fathom the plight this girl and her siblings were likely facing. "What do we do?" he inquired, feeling an urge to take charge. "Let's get them all settled in," Dr. Finch instructed, looking over his notes. "She needs to rest, and the babies should be fed. I'll arrange for further care once she wakes up." As May set about preparing bottles for the babies, Ethan couldn't shake the anxious feeling gnawing at him. He felt an inexplicable connection to this girl. Time passed slowly, and the atmosphere in the house shifted as May worked diligently to care for the infants, feeding them warm milk while Ethan kept a close eye on the girl. He paced the room, his thoughts racing from family, responsibility, and the lives had suddenly intertwined. After what felt like hours, the stillness of the room was broken when the girl's eyelids finally fluttered again and she slowly opened her eyes. There was confusion in her gaze as she struggled to sit up. "Whoa, take it easy," Ethan said gently, moving to her side. "You're safe now. You're at my house." She blinked several times, processing his words. "Who are you?" Her voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper. "I'm Ethan. I found you at the park. You passed out, and I brought you here to help you." He pointed to the babies nearby. "And these little ones are with you." The girl's eyes widened as she realized the crying infants were present. Panic washed over her. "Mia! Where's Mia?" she gasped, sitting up too quickly. "Easy now," Ethan said, gently guiding her back down. "You're safe, but I need to know, who are you?" "Amara," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. "Mia is my sister. The babies, they're my brothers. I was trying to protect them." Ethan could see the weight of her words as they hung in the air. Protect them from what? Amara's gaze turned distant, an agonizing look crossing her face. "Our lives have been hard. We lost our mother last year. My father, he's not in the picture. I was just trying to take care of them. I didn't know what else to do." Understanding began to dawn on Ethan. "You've been on your own?" Amara nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I tried to find help, but it's hard. I didn't have enough money for food, let alone a place to stay. I thought maybe I could just rest for a moment, but..." She trailed off, her voice breaking. Ethan's heart ached for her. "You didn't do anything wrong. You took care of them, and that's what matters." "What will happen to us now?" Amara asked, fear etched in her expression. "Right now, you're safe," Ethan assured her. "I'll make sure you and your siblings get the help you need." Amara looked at him, a mixture of relief and uncertainty swirling in her eyes. "You mean it? We won't be sent away?" "No," Ethan said firmly. "You're here. I promise we'll figure this out together." Hours passed, filled with soft conversations and the gentle cries of the babies. As May prepared the sleeping arrangements, they started to relax, feeling the warmth of safety envelop them. When Dr. Finch returned, he brought the necessary supplies and also a comforting presence. "Amara, I've called a few social services," he informed her gently. "We want to ensure that you find stability. You deserve support, especially after everything you've been through." With the doctor's encouragement, Ethan sat beside Amara, reassuring her that they would move forward together. Could I stay here while they help us?" she asked tentatively. "Absolutely," Ethan replied, offering a warm smile. "This can be your home for as long as you need." That night, as the stars twinkled in the sky, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that destiny had led him to this moment. Something within him, once solely focused on his career, had shifted as he looked at Amara and the babies sleeping peacefully in the adjoining room. He realized their intertwined paths held the potential for growth and healing for all of them. As days turned into weeks, Ethan worked closely with social services, ensuring Amara and the babies received proper care. The once grand mansion transformed into a nurturing home filled with laughter and heartwarming moments. Amara found strength in Ethan's encouragement, and little by little, she began to heal from the scars of her past. She discovered her own voice, contributing ideas for starting a community project aimed at supporting young mothers and children just like her. Ethan couldn't help but admire Amara's resilience. Watching her navigate the challenges each day reminded him of the struggles he had faced in his own life. He began to feel a sense of purpose beyond being a successful entrepreneur. He became a mentor and a father figure to Amara and the babies. One sunny afternoon, as laughter echoed through the house, Ethan sat with Amara, drawing plans for the community project. They brainstormed together, their ideas weaving into something beautiful. "I can't believe how far we've come," Amara said, her voice filled with pride. "You're the heart of this home," Ethan replied, meeting her gaze. "You've shown me that there's more to life than success. It's about the lives we touch along the way." As autumn faded into winter, the warmth of their bond only grew stronger. Ethan often found himself cherishing moments of joy while caring for the babies adapt to her alongside new role, Amara, and finding stability reminded him of the power of family, even in the face of adversity. Eventually, Amara took on part-time work at a local cafe, her confidence blooming along with her creativity. Quickly becoming known for her engaging presence, she felt fulfilled and appreciated, something she had long yearned for. One evening, as Ethan and Amara sat in the living room sipping cocoa, Ethan received a call. His company had landed a groundbreaking contract that could send them into new markets. "Guess what?" he exclaimed, grinning with excitement. "Our project just got the green light." Amara clapped her hands in joy. "That's amazing. You've worked so hard for this, Ethan." As they celebrated, Ethan felt an unexpected urge to share his success with Amara, realizing that their lives were now intertwined not just by circumstance, but by choice. "Amara, I want you to join me in this journey. Perhaps we could combine our efforts to give back even more, specifically to young families needing support," he proposed. Her eyes sparkled. "You mean it? Together?" "Absolutely," Ethan affirmed, feeling the promise of something much greater unfolding before them. Through their collaborative efforts, the community event they had created flourished, reaching countless families and providing resources that impacted lives. And so, as the seasons changed outside, the bond between Ethan, Amara, and the children deepened. They became each other's forever family, celebrating each milestone with love and support. One winter night, standing beneath the twinkling stars, Ethan turned to Amara, his heart swelling with gratitude. "You've brought so much light into my life. I never expected to find this kind of joy." Amara smiled, her eyes reflecting warmth. "And I never believed I could feel this safe again. Thank you for believing in us." As snowflakes began to fall softly around them, they both understood that their paths had crossed for a reason. Together, they embraced the unknown, ready to write the next chapter of their extraordinary story, one filled with hope, love, and a renewed sense of purpose. Their journey was far from over, but as they faced the future together, Ethan knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would always find a way to overcome them. As winter transitioned to spring, the weather grew warmer, and a sense of renewal filled the air. Ethan's tech company was flourishing, and he was busy expanding their outreach to local communities. However, his heart was equally devoted to the mission he had embarked on with Amara. "Ethan, we've been getting a lot of interest in our community project," Amara said one afternoon as they reviewed the latest updates together. "People are starting to reach out, wanting to volunteer and get involved." Ethan beamed at her enthusiasm. "That's fantastic. We should organize a workshop to train volunteers on how to engage with families in need and make a real impact." "Absolutely. I can share some ideas about activities that can make them feel welcomed and included," Amara replied, her excitement bubbling over. They spent the next days preparing for the workshop, molding it into a space where volunteers could learn, share ideas, and collaborate on nurturing the community. As anticipation built, the two of them worked harmoniously, their shared passion for helping others igniting something special within them. The workshop day arrived, and the community center buzzed with energy. Families, volunteers, and local leaders gathered, eager to participate in the initiative. Ethan and Amara stood at the front, ready to welcome everyone and encourage open communication. "Welcome, everyone. We're thrilled to see so many caring faces here today," Ethan began, his voice filled with warmth. "Together, we'll explore how we can better support families in our community and share our resources." Amara followed, her eyes shining with purpose. "We've created this program to empower not just the families in need, but also you, the volunteers, by teaching you the skills you need to make a difference. Throughout the day, they engaged in lively discussions, team-building exercises, and brainstorming sessions, each moment reinforcing the profound impact they could make together. As they wrapped up, participants expressed gratitude for the guidance they had received, many stepping forward to offer their own resources, skills, and time. Ethan and Amara exchanged proud glances, both recognizing how much they had accomplished. "This is just the beginning," Amara whispered as they left the center hand in hand. "Indeed," Ethan replied thoughtfully. "With compassion and teamwork, we can touch even more lives and make a real difference." As they continued to shape the community project, their bond deepened, experiencing shared laughter, stories, and moments where they leaned on one another during challenging times. One evening, they sat together on the patio, looking out over the skyline of the city. "Ethan, I've started to think about what the future holds," Amara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "What do you mean?" "I love being part of this mission, helping families, sharing our experiences. It makes me feel alive again. I want to do more of this, maybe even consider pursuing a degree in social work," she admitted. Ethan's heart swelled with pride. "You would be incredible at that. You've overcome so much, and your heart is full of compassion. I'd support you every step of the way." Amara turned to face him, her eyes glinting with unshed tears. "You've changed my life, Ethan. None of this would have happened without you." "Do you remember when I found you in the park?" Ethan asked, his voice dropping to a more serious tone. "I often think about that moment. It was a turning point, not just for you, but for me too." Amara nodded, considering his words. "Things can change in the blink of an eye. We never know what we might encounter." Suddenly, an idea sparked in Ethan's mind. "How about we host a series of community storytelling events?" he suggested. "Sharing our stories can inspire others and create connections. We can highlight the journeys of families who have faced hardships." Amara's face lit up. "That's brilliant. We can invite different families to share their experiences, and together, we can foster understanding and empathy in our neighborhood." Excited, they infused their newfound idea into their ongoing project, launching a series of storytelling events that would allow families to share their struggles and triumphs. As they prepared for the first event, they invited local residents, community leaders, and families in need. The evening was filled with anticipation, and the room buzzed with excitement. When the night arrived, the venue was filled with warm lights and cozy seating, creating a welcoming atmosphere. As participants arrived, Ethan and Amara worked the crowd, encouraging conversations and networking. "Welcome, everyone," Ethan greeted, standing in front of the small stage. "Tonight, we gather to build connections through storytelling, sharing our journeys to foster understanding and hope. Together, we can create a stronger community." Amara took the stage next, her voice steady and passionate. "We're here to remind each other that no one is alone in their struggles. We can support one another, learn from each other, and grow together." One by one, families took turns sharing their stories, moments filled with heartache, resilience, and the strength they found along the way. The atmosphere grew charged with emotion, laughter mingling with tears as everyone connected with the narratives being revealed. As Ethan watched the impact that these stories had on the audience, he felt immense gratitude for the journey they had undertaken. He turned to Amara, who stood beside him, her eyes glistening with feelings of pride and purpose. Several weeks passed, and the storytelling events became a beloved tradition in the community. As families continued to share their tales, Ethan and Amara watched the connections deepen and the support network flourish. But it wasn't just about the impact on others. Their bond grew stronger as they celebrated the milestones they had reached together. They spent precious evenings laughing and talking under the stars, finding joy in each other's company. One day, as spring began ushering in warmth, Ethan realized he felt something deeper for Amara, something he hadn't expected to find in the chaos that had first brought them together. When he finally mustered the courage to speak, he found her sitting on the grass, watching the sunset. "Amara," he said gently, announcing his presence. She looked up, a smile blooming on her face. "Ethan, what a beautiful evening, isn't it?" "It is," he replied, his heart racing. Could you ever imagine where we might be leading? Together, I mean?" Amara raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I care about you. Truly," he said earnestly. "You've become such an important part of my life. Watching you blossom into the person you are has filled my heart with so much joy." Amara's expression softened, surprise illuminating her features. "Ethan, I feel the same way. I never expected to find someone like you, someone who believes in me so unconditionally." The tension hung in the air, filled with possibilities. "I think we make a great team," he continued, "and I want to explore this bond further if you're open to it." A brilliant smile spread across Amara's face. "Yes, absolutely. I'd love nothing more than to embark on this journey together." As their worlds intertwined even more, their story evolved into that of partnership, fueled by connection and mutual support, the kind that transcended any hardships they had each faced. Months passed, blending their professional and personal aspirations into a beautiful tapestry. With their shared dreams, they dreamt of expanding their community project nationally while continuing to nurture their relationship. Then came the pivotal moment, a presentation to secure a major grant that would allow them to expand their outreach. Despite the weight of the task at hand, Ethan and Amara found solace in each other. As they stood before the panel of potential investors, Ethan's heart raced. "Thank you for the opportunity to share our vision today. We believe that our project can transform lives, providing resources, support, and love to families who need it most," he began. Amara followed, her enthusiasm evident. "By sharing our stories, we can reduce stigma and foster empathy. Together, we can create a community that thrives on connection and hope." As they wrapped up their presentation with the audience captivated, Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the synergy radiating from Amara. After the presentation concluded, they awaited feedback, feeling a mix of anxiety and a sense of accomplishment over what they had shared. Finally, the panel members stood up, offering warm smiles and enthusiastic praise. In that moment, Ethan and Amara knew they had made an impact, sparking potential for growth beyond what they had ever imagined. As they celebrated the success of the presentation, Amara turned to Ethan, her eyes glimmering with excitement. "We did it, Ethan. This could change everything for so many families." "Together, we can change the world," he responded, his heart brimming. Through ups and downs, they had found more than a partnership. They had discovered love, camaraderie, and the true essence of family, built not from blood, but from heart connections. With renewed determination, they set forth on their journey, hand in hand, ready to embrace the challenges and triumphs that lay ahead, with the promise that together they could create a brighter future for others and for themselves.